Hey, it's Chaplain Sousa. I'm at the Southern Nevada Veterans Memorial Cemetery. It's right outside of Las Vegas, and it's Memorial Day, and I just wanted to take a couple seconds to think about what we ought to be thinking about on Memorial Day. You know, I'm surrounded by all of these memorials, literally thousands of them, and many of them are of soldiers who went off to fight America's war, to fight for our freedom, and never returned. And they tell a story of a life that's been cut short prematurely. They tell a story of a soldier who gave the ultimate sacrifice. But I believe these memorials are a lot like icebergs, and they don't tell the whole story. Because there's sacrifice and story that needs to be remembered and told that lie underneath these memorials. Not simply the soldier themselves, but the battle buddy who fought next to this soldier and had to wrestle with survivor guilt, saying, why him and not me? Who had to, maybe at 22 years old and never even signed a check in his life, had to process the fact that their battle buddy was dead and had to go out the next day and fight America's wars. Or the story of the commander who made the call, gave the order for this soldier to go out, and wrestles with the burden of responsibility. As a matter of fact, in 2016, I had the privilege of talking to Lieutenant Colonel DeLuca from New Jersey, who commanded troops in Vietnam in 1968 and saw many of his men die. And even in 2016, some 40, 50 years later, could not talk about those men without a tear in his eye and feeling the burden of responsibility, because it was his order that sent those men out. Oh, the story of First Sergeant from 1st Cab, who told me the story of a soldier that he lost in battle, and carries it with him to this day, that if he just had one more day of training, just a little more training, that soldier might be still alive today. You know, these are underneath the iceberg kind of stories that we need to remember on Memorial Day. And then, of course, you know, underneath the iceberg, or behind a lot of these memorials, are loved ones, family members, wives and moms and husbands and children. I've done death notifications, seen moms begging us not to tell her that her son was dead. Her story's underneath the iceberg, but it's one that needs to be remembered because she made a sacrifice for her nation. Or young wives with children crawling at her ankles, devastated, collapsing upon the news that her husband is dead. That's a sacrifice that we need to remember on Memorial Day. And so on this Memorial Day, let us remember those soldiers who gave everything, the ultimate sacrifice in battle. But let us also go underneath the iceberg and remember those who maybe even walked the earth on this day, but still gave a tremendous sacrifice. We honor you on this day. We remember you on this day. And we give thanks to God on this day, for it was Jesus who said that there is no greater love than he who will die for his friends. So have the best day possible and walk in peace.